Hello, hello. First of all, I want to thank you for joining. And if we have not met either virtually, in person, or if you've never listened to one of my podcasts before, my name is Leslie Taylor. I am the profitability strategist. And my firm, Leslie Taylor and Associates, we help entrepreneurs manage their numbers into profitability. And so that's why I'm always talking about profitability, is because I want to help my clients, my community, business owners improve their profits. And so today I'm talking about increasing profit without increasing prices. And as I am recording this today, well, first of all, as I'm recording this today, my summer is officially over, and I just have to say that. I'm feeling some kind of way about that. But we are excited, and I'd say all that because our son is beginning school. He's going back to school August 1st. In our county, we start very early. So summer is pretty much over, but we're excited. We're excited for him. He's headed into the 5th grade. Whoop, whoop. But also, as I am recording, we are just coming off of a week where we heard that as a nation, we had 2 consecutive quarters of a decrease in the gross domestic product, which strongly suggests a recession. However, there are certain other signs that don't necessarily follow or aren't normal for a recession. But regardless of whether we are or whether we aren't in a recession, we are still feeling the squeeze of the inflation, significant inflation, massive inflation. And it's causing businesses large and small to struggle, households to struggle. And so we're all seeing it, no matter where we are or what we do, or what industry we're in. It's affecting all of us in some way. And so this week, that's why I wanted to talk about these special reports, because for business owners, this is really a critical time. I think these reports should be used always, but especially right now, it's time to start making those data-driven decisions if you haven't already, and or leveling up your ability to make data-driven decisions. So this week I'm sharing a few special reports that you should be asking for and or receiving and or generating if you're a DIYer. And so I want to begin with this question. Is your bookkeeping making you money? Is your bookkeeping making you money? If not, here are 7 bookkeeping/accounting reports that will help you do just that. Like I said, I believe all businesses should have the resources and tools available to them to be able to make data-driven decisions, especially right now. So now is the time for you to be asking for or generating for yourself these reports. Now, I have 7 of them, maybe 8. I may throw an extra one in. But I'm going to start with 2 that I've mentioned in the past. And so if you've listened to any of my or read any of my blogs, been in any of my trainings or webinars or anything, then you may have heard some of this. But I have to mention these because they just can't be omitted. But I am going to specifically focus on how these reports can be used to help you increase profit without increasing prices. So the very first report, dun, 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 is the P&L statement. Yep, I've talked about it before, but here we go. And here's how it can help you increase profit without increasing prices. So the P&L statement, so what is it? The profit and loss statement, aka P&L statement, aka income statement, shows a business's profitability or lack of profitability for a specific period of time. Now, it's a favorite because it's all about profitability, and that's what we all want. Now, the P&L statement, it can help you understand how certain events and decisions affect the degree of profitability that your business experiences. So this statement can help you understand which products or services are more profitable and which are less profitable, so you know where to focus your time and your resources in order to increase profitability. Now, that might mean straight dollars, right? straight dollars. Like this product brings in more dollars, or this service brings in more dollars than this other service. But it could also mean, and I alluded to this a little bit, it can also mean degree of profitability. So what I mean by that is some products might have you working harder to generate a given amount of profit versus other products where you don't have to work so hard. Okay? So that's a little different level of insight. Hey, we don't have to work as hard and we can generate just as much money. Maybe we should be doing more of that. So the P&L statement can be used for that as well. Now, also, because you can compare different periods of time, like month to month or quarter to quarter, you can see negative trends in profitability and take action before they've gone too far. But in the same way, you can observe what activities are causing some positive trends in profitability, and you can do more of that. So these are a few things that I really love about the P&L statement. So if you don't have one, if you're not getting one, get yourself one. Get yourself one. Generate it. Statement number 2, and I've talked about this one before as well, is the statement of cash flows. Now, I've already said this. Statement of cash flows is just one of my favorites. I just love the statement of cash flows. So what is it? The statement of cash flows is a report that shows where the cash came from and where it went in your business. Do you think that's important? Heck yeah, it's important. I want to know where the cash came from and I want to know where it went. It explains the difference. Essentially, it explains the difference that exists between your P&L statement that we just talked about and your bank account. It explains why you have the amount of cash you have in your bank account. It answers the question that I always hear from business owners: where's my cash? I'm not really sure where my cash is. Okay? The statement of cash flows can shed light on money leaks that aren't found on the P&L. Now, a P&L can be used to find money leaks, but the statement of cash flow can shed even more light, right? It is possible to have a profitable business on your P&L and yet not have enough or not have any cash in the bank. Behaviors like commingling of funds. What do I mean by that? I mean mixing business and personal funds. Excessive owner's distributions, right? So pulling money out of the business frequently, often randomly. And having clients and customers that take too long to pay you, they can all be seen on that statement of cash flow and explain where your cash went. It has shed many a light for new clients that I've started working with who learned that they were slowly strangling their businesses to death because they were taking the cash out. They had profitable businesses, but they were taking the cash out. All right, so those are the first two, and those are my baselines. Now, I always also talk about having a balance sheet, but I'm not going to talk about it here because it's not one of my top for helping businesses increase profit without increasing prices. But I just want to make note, I always recommend a balance sheet as well, but I'm not going to talk about it here today. Just wanted to mention that though. Okay. Report number 3, actual versus budget reports. So what's an actual versus budget report? So this report is based off of a P&L statement, right? What we just talked about. But this is where you compare your actual numbers, right? Your actual revenue, your actual expenses and costs to what it is you planned in your budget. She said the B word. I did say the B word. So how can this one help you? Okay. So in my business, we prefer the term profitability roadmap when referring to a budget, as well as, we have our own signature approach to creating these. But the idea is that you create a plan for increasing profitability, and it's based on what you know about your business. It's based on where you want to take your business. It's based on what you know you are capable of doing. So, and I always say this, profitability is intentional. So you are intentionally planning for your profitability by putting together a profitability roadmap or a budget. Now, this particular report, the actuals versus budgets report, can help you by creating a path with guidelines that allow you to track where you are and whether you are on track or off track to meet your profitability goals. So you can make adjustments as needed, right? Before things go too far off the rails. This is the actuals versus budgets report. It's like an accountability report, but you're being accountable to yourself, right? Nobody is telling you what to do. You're telling yourself, your business, what to do. And then equipping yourself with this checkpoint, this accountability report to see where you are so you can make adjustments and stay on track and meet your goals. So that's the actual versus budgets report. The next report is the top 10 revenue streams report. It can also be called a revenue mix report, but basically this report lists your top 10 money makers. Your top 10 money makers. Now, honestly, sometimes a P&L, it can simply just have a lot of rows and people feel overwhelmed, and it can be difficult to sometimes more of a challenge to pull, the information we want, right? Distill it down. So what I love about this report is it drills right down. It helps us focus just on the revenue streams and the top ones for a given period of time. So if you have several products or different services, it helps you by allowing you to identify which ones are bringing in the most cash or which ones are bringing in little to no cash for a given period of time. So do some of your products or services perform better at different times of the year? Do your products or services perform better after certain sales activities, or maybe after certain speaking engagements? Certain things sell better than other things. This can help you determine what you want to do more of or less of in terms of focusing your resources on the future. So just as I had talked about it some in that P&L report, this helps you drill down a little more, the top 10 revenue streams. And you can also see what the trends are, whether they change. So that's what I really love about the top 10 revenue streams report. It helps you have you can quickly look at it and pull, understanding from that report. You can look at it really quick. It's a nice snapshot. Now, the next report is very similar. It's the top 10 expenses report. So just like the top 10 revenue streams, this report is just as important, because it's just as important, obviously, to look at and be able to drill down into your expenses. This report does that. So running this report can be really eye-opening. I've heard more than one client say, I had no idea we were spending that much on, XYZ, right? So this report, it helps you hone in on where most of the money is going for a given period. And it can change, right? There might be in a given quarter, maybe you hired a bunch of folks. And so your salary expenses, payroll went way up. Maybe you made a contribution to your retirement account in a given quarter, and it was a huge amount because your tax or financial professional suggested that was something you needed to do. So again, these are all things where you can see, again, for different periods of time, month to month, this is how you know where most of your money is going. And then you can more clearly see where there might be opportunities to make change. Because sometimes you need to make change. Sometimes you need to make change, right? Too much money is going to a different area, and you see those opportunities to reduce. Or you see that there are things that you're no longer using that, you may want to shed, get rid of. But also, it's also good to be able to see opportunities where you might want to find alternatives, alternative vendors, alternative services as well, as long as they are providing the level of service that you still need. Okay, the next report is the accounts receivable report. Accounts receivable is basically who owes me money. It's the who owes me money report. That's what it is. Again, I've spoken about this report before as well. I did in my recent masterclass when I spoke about improving cash and cash flow in a business. But the importance of sitting down on a regular basis and taking a look at who owes you money is huge. If you offer payment plans, if you have terms and you allow people to pay you over time, this is critical, and it gets more and more critical as your business grows and gets larger and larger and you have more and more clients. By having a report like this, it's easy to see who owes you money and for how long they've owed you money. Not just who owes you money, but for how long, right? So, is it 1 to 30 days, 30 to 60 days, or 90 plus days? Hold on now. If your payment terms are, everybody needs to pay you within 60 days and you've got folks that are 90 plus days, then you need to have some conversations, right? And then you can answer questions like, are the same clients having issues paying, right? Then you may need to adjust that specific or address that specifically with those clients. Is this a recurring trend with them? Are your payment terms too long, right? Maybe they need to be shortened. Are the same products or services having an issue, right? Everybody who buys this product, they're having issues with making all the payments. Do you need to shorten your payment terms or get paid faster? Do you need to offer an incentive to those, who pay faster, or some type of a deterrent to those who are late? These are all things that you can explore that will definitely, because I've seen it, help you increase profit without increasing prices. So that's another report that you really must have. If you don't have it, you need to go get it. All right. I got 2 more left. The next report is a sales by customer report. This report, and this report is, of course, if you're a small business and you only have a few customers, maybe it's not as useful. But if you're a product-based business, if you have lots of customers, knowing who is more likely to buy from you and understanding how you might be able to support them more is less expensive than going out and finding new customers and clients, right? It's not about selling them more for the sake of selling them more, but it's about serving them more, right? So if you see, well, these folks, they're purchasing more, they seem to need more, let me find out some other ways that I can serve them, because it's more likely they're going to be open to offerings and things that might help them. So as long as you're able to fill a need, right? If they have unmet needs, it might be worth your while to understand what those are and fill those needs as a way of increasing your profitability. All right. My last report is one of my favorites. I say that on everyone. I know. I've said that on almost everyone. But they are. I love this stuff. So the last report is a KPI report. KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. Now, the great thing about this report is you can decide what you want to put in it. You decide what items are important for your business and the ones that you really want to track. So here are some examples of how it can help you in some specific key performance indicators that you might want to include in this report. One is monthly revenue targets, right? You've determined how much you need to bring in each month to meet your goals for the year. And if you haven't, you should. That's part of the budget we talked about earlier, profitability roadmap. But if you have that number in mind, then you know how much you need to be bringing in revenue every month to meet the goals, to be able to retain your staff, or to get to a point where you're able to hire staff, or to be able to pay down debt faster. Like you have a revenue target to be able to do these things, right? And or to have X amount of profit left over. Right? Again, it's about being intentional. So having in your KPI a monthly revenue target that's just in a special report, right? We've got all these reports that we can generate. And yes, I am a proponent of having the balance sheet and the P&L statement and the statement of cash flows. But the KPI report is where we have summarized the things that are most important from all those other reports. So monthly revenue targets. Another one, margin targets. Margin is how much you get to keep after expenses are paid. So tracking margins over time is a good way to see how efficiently the business can turn income into profit. That's it. How efficiently does the business turn income and all of its other resources into profit? Remember when I was talking about working harder to generate X number of dollars or working less hard to generate X number of dollars? That's what margin speaks to. That's what margin speaks to. So higher margins mean that you're better at doing this, and lower margins aren't necessarily bad. And margins are industry specific, but it just means you're less efficient at doing that. So watching your margins and seeing what's happening with them is another KPI that's a good idea. Even if you don't know what your target margin is, just tracking it, just looking at it, just seeing what's happening to it can tell you a lot. All right. Another item that you might want to put on a KPI report is receivables. We already talked about that. And so this is just high-level summary. What's the max number of days you've been waiting for your money, right? Is it 10 days? Is it 15 days? Is it 100 days? Is it 200 days? What's the max number of days? What's the max number of days? Again, receivables report is great. This one is just a top-level snapshot of key things you think are important. And then, of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention earnings and net income targets, right? Revenues are good, but the bottom line is more important. Now, these are just a few examples. There are so many things you can put in a KPI report based on your business, based on where you are in your stage of business, your industry, all those things. But that's what I love about the KPI report, is it gives you a high-level snapshot of the things that are most important to you and the things that you most want to track. These are the 8 reports that I recommend you get your hands on as soon as possible. If, of course, you're looking to increase profit without increasing prices, but also if you're looking to begin making data-driven decisions. The P&L statement, the statement of cash flows, the actual versus budgets reports, the top 10 revenue streams or top money makers report, the top expenses report, the who owes me money report, accounts receivable, the sales by customer report, and the KPI report. Now, one thing I want to note, but before we end this podcast, one thing that I absolutely have to say and have to make you aware of is, in order to generate these reports, in order for these reports to be of any use to you, your bookkeeping has to be up to date and accurate. Otherwise, these reports are useless. Garbage in, garbage out. If you need help getting your books up to date, making sure they're accurate, cleaning up any messes. So if you need any immediate support in doing any of this, we can help. So definitely there's a link below, schedule a discovery session. That's what you need to do. There's a link below that says schedule a discovery session, and we will get you taken care of. But if you've enjoyed what you've heard here today, and you'd like some additional tips to help your business be better or to help you be better in business, you should also definitely get a copy of my free guide to learn how to stop the money leaks in your business. It's called Stop the Money Leaks in Your Business. These are the 5 money-related mistakes that entrepreneurs make all the time. I see it all the time. And how to fix them, right? I wouldn't leave you out there with just what are the mistakes. I actually tell you what you need to do to fix them. So in it, I share these top 5 mistakes that I see entrepreneurs make that keep them from realizing their full profitable potential. I don't want that for you, so get a copy of the guide. And for this week's podcast, that's all I have. Stay profitable and have a great rest of the week. Bye. If you need immediate help or support in generating these reports, if you need immediate help in figuring out where to start, getting your books up to date so that you can begin making data-driven decisions, definitely reach out and schedule a discovery session. There is a link below. As business solution experts, we've helped dozens of businesses untangle complex issues, get caught up, get cleaned up, and just clarify a path to greater profitability. So schedule a discovery session. Also, if you've enjoyed what you've heard here and you'd like some additional tips to help your business be better or to help you to be better in business, get a copy of my free guide to learn how to stop the money leaks in your business. And it's called Stop the Money Leaks in Your Business: the 5 money-related mistakes entrepreneurs make and how to fix them. In it, I share the top 5 mistakes entrepreneurs make that keep them from realizing their full profitable potential. So the link for that is below as well. And that's all I have for this week. Until next time, stay profitable. Thank you.